Okay. Did you receive the software and were you able to install it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Since we have 3 days break, so what I thought is if you have hands-on on that particular tools and whatever we have discussed, so it will be easy for you to work on that provided in this break. So
Right.
let's. Were you able to install? Were you able to open GD?
Yes, I am currently doing that on the other machine right now.
Okay. So I'll just make you presenter. So share your screen on them so that we can check.
Okay, give me just a minute. I'll have to what I did was I logged on through the other screen.
So can you work in single laptop now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So let me know when you're able to share your screen. I will change the presenter.
Sure. Machine I have does not have network right now. Hold on.
Okay, no problem.
Or I don't want to waste time on that right now. So I can take the notes and I can do it all over the weekend. I'll struggle with it, and if I face any problems, I'll touch base with you on the next session.
Okay,
Because
okay,
things may take time, right? So I don't want to waste my time on that.
okay. So if it is fine for you to work like whatever I can tell you, so if you can hear and then work on that other machine, if it is I'm fine with it.
Yep, yep.
Okay. So once you're into the GDE, are you able to set up the host connection and whether it says test connection is okay? Because that's the catch, like we have to use local host
Okay. And
because
how
I
do I
forgot.
specify that?
Yeah, yes. So open up the GDE. So once it fires up and you are in the, I think component organizer will be on the right and you have a grade working area, right?
Okay, just a second. Let me open it because
Okay. Okay, I hear XP booting up.
yep.
Okay, we're getting one notification. When you open up GDE, I think it will by default open a new graph with the name graph1,
Yep.
and on the right side you will be seeing the component organizer which are
Yes.
having different components arranged by categories according to their function. You will see continuous, database, dataset, transform, miscellaneous,
Yep.
everything,
Yep.
right?
I see that.
Okay, and the toolbar and then the menu bar, everything is visible, right?
Yes.
Okay, so please go to settings or run. Actually, I'm not sure what is the, I forgot that word
Run is
first.
there.
Run. So click on run and settings or connections.
Settings.
Okay. So in the meantime, I'll tell you about the new version also. So in the new version, we'll have settings as the outer menu, and then inside it we have to go for manage connections.
Okay.
So it will not be a very big deal. There is a big deal, but it will be similar only.
Okay.
Yeah. So click on run settings and it
Mhm.
will open up a new pop-up window where you will get new, edit, duplicate, something like that, right?
Mm,
It should open a pop-up window.
hold on. We'll do it again. Within settings, I'm able to see post, script, tracking, catalog, compile, transforms. Those are the tabs, and it has profile and.
Okay, not that one. What else you see in the run menu? Okay, let me open one more screen. I think it is not at all in that run menu itself. No, it's in the run menu only.
There is repository settings and there is run settings.
Oh, you have to go to run only.
Okay.
So if you mouse over the run tab, what else you see?
Settings, edit, generated script, run, deploy, and refresh environment, execute command, and package for support.
Okay, so you should use settings only.
Okay, and that opens a small window which says there are different tabs. The first one is host.
Okay.
Second tab is script. Then tracking, catalog, and compile transforms. In the host tab, there is a profile normal and host directories, use host profile settings, and there's a.
Okay. So it says normal, right? So you have to edit that particular normal thing. So click on edit. Actually, by default, a profile called normal is created.
Okay.
You remember I said like we can create the profiles and we can save them and reuse it wherever necessary.
Right.
Yes. So the default profile now named is normal. So click on edit. Normal profile page will open. In the first tab, it should show some default location /normal.aih.
Yes.
And then description, you can give a description like whatever you want. And then in the connection tab where we specify our server name, username and password, click on localhost.
Local entity
There
host?
should be an option. That one, correct.
Okay.
So everything else should be grayed out.
Yes.
And what are the things that are not grayed out? Can you please tell what are the options that are set?
Version, which is currently set as auto.
Okay,
and
that's good.
Location is /ab initio.
Confirm that in that particular location there should be an installation for ab initio co-op.
Oh.
So you can use Windows E to open up the Windows Explorer, traverse to the C drive.
Yes, I see it. Like ab initio is there and it has several folders: bin, config, connectors, db_v2, all those.
Okay, excellent. So come back to the settings screen, and what else? I think the shell information should be there, I guess. Type of shell or patch file should be
shell type is ntpatchfile.bat.
Okay, excellent. And in the bottom, you should see a default directory window also, right?
Host directory, which is optional, C ab initio temp.
C ab initio temp.
Yep.
Okay, we can change it later also. So try to click on host connection. Test connection, sorry.
Test login?
Yeah, test login.
Okay, run settings verified.
Okay, that's it. So in the default directory, so create a folder in your machine, that's your Windows Explorer, and give that particular directory here. So we don't want to mess up all the, we like to have the things in one place.
Okay.
So how many drives you have in this XP machine? Only C drive?
Yep.
So create a folder and then give that folder name here. So remember to give colon and backslash.
Yeah.
Front slash. So Windows formatting is different, so give that particular thing. You can copy it from the Windows Explorer's address bar.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. The reason I am repeating everything is I've trained students who haven't seen Windows operating system at all.
No. I'm fine with that, so I don't have any problems with Windows or mainframes. Okay.
You will see their expressions when they see a GUI window, like when they're double clicking, opening properties. So those are things are not present in the other versions of Linux or Unix flavors. Probably they haven't seen Windows system.
Yeah, I have worked on Windows like for 15 years. I have worked on Mac for 5 years now, so I'm fine with any of them. Yep,
Okay.
done. What next?
Okay, so give that particular directory here and click on test connection again.
Yeah,
So
I've
if you
done that already.
okay, if you save it again, you will go back to that settings window where you will see another test connection or test login button. Now right now you are in the edit normal page, so if you save and go back, there should be another test button. Can you see that?
Yes.
Click on that also.
Yep, run settings verified again.
Okay. Okay. Click on OK and close this one.
Mm-hmm.
So let me go back to the first slide. Okay. Now we have finished up the host settings menu,
Mm-hmm.
and in your GDE, on top of the GDE screen where it shows Ab initio graph 1, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So by default it has opened a new worksheet or a new graph.
Okay.
Whether the area is grayed out or you're seeing a white screen.
Great.
In the left, grayed out.
Just like the
Oh,
screenshot that you have.
just like the screen I have. Okay, right. So do you see, or so open up a new document, use Control N or File menu new, whatever. Does it opens up a new window and says graph 2?
Yes, it does, but that is also grayed out.
Okay. Now go to view and then choose something called frame, outer frame.
I don't see that.
It should be edit outer frame display. So there should be an option called outer frame. So it displays a box so that whatever components you insert into this particular graph will always be inside that box. You will not miss out any components, because whenever you are developing a graph, right, you tend to add the components on the right side, so it will be visible till that point, till that working area. So whatever components you have added, it will be going on the right if you're developing a big graph. So if you're using this outer frame, you can assume that every component will be in the box only.
Okay, but I don't see that option either in edit or
View. Is it? I'm just checking where is that option in my things. Okay,
component organizer.
Component. If you click on that, the component organizer will toggle actually. That's also one thing. So you see the component organizer now on the right side, right? There should be a tick mark also in. So if it has a tick mark, then it will come. If you click on it again, it will go. And the shortcut is Control F9, I guess.
F9, normal F9.
Normal F9. So if you open Control F9, you will get the sandbox view.
Yeah.
And you can toggle it.
Yeah, but how do I get that frame?
Option is outer frame or frame, and it should be in that particular menu. I'll get it. That's what I'm checking also. But that is not a problem. Actually, it's only for our display only. And if you want the component organizer to say by always on your side, you can keep it, or you can toggle it whenever necessary.
Okay.
So let me just go to wherever we left off. Actually, we discussed about different parallelism, flows, ports, and we have phases and checkpoints. We'll see about it later. We have debugger to see about later. Watchers. Okay. So let us just discuss about debuggers. So we have an inbuilt debugging capability in Ab initio for debugging your graphs. You can see the debugger toolbar. If it is not enabled, you can just enable it using tools, debugger, I guess, or watches something. So debugger option is there, right?
Yes, it is there.
In the, yeah, if you click on that, you will get another section in the toolbars.
Yep.
where it shows 4 icons, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that is the debugger tool. So now we'll go back to the slide. Okay, so these are the 4 icons. So enable debugger, add watcher files, isolate components, remove all watches. So when you want to create a watcher file and then check what is happening when your graph is executing, so you have to first enable the debugger, and then you can add watcher files using the second icon on top of any flow where you want.
Okay.
Okay, so you can just put a component on any flow that can be used to view the data which is passing on that particular flow. We'll see about the other options also. So let me just give an information about watches. So watches are a simple alternative to the debugging technique of manually creating intermediate files and inserting them into a graph to check the data in intermediate flows. So debugging using intermediate files. So intermediate file, as the name suggests, it is combination of both input and output. So it will have both input port as well as output port. Okay. So remember the graph which we discussed about, like it has an input file, reformat, or sort component, and then output file. We can see the data in input file, we can see the data in output file, but we will not be able to see the data between rollup and sort, or reformat and sort, whatever in case. So wherever components which does not have the view data option except dataset components, so all the dataset components, so when I say dataset, in the sense it will include both files and tables. So that's a dataset. So other than that, we cannot see data which is present in that particular component. So view data option is not available for program components. So to check what are the components that has view data, so go to the component organizer, go to the dataset or dataset folder, and click on input file. You can just double click it, or you can drag it and drop it in the working area.
Yep.
So after doing that, right click on that particular component. Remember to right click on that component, so it will open up the pop-up bar, and you can see a view data option.
Yes.
So right clicking on any component or any graph, you open up the possible options. So if you open, so go back to the organizer and pull up a reformat component. So reformat is present inside transform folder, I guess. Right click and check whether you have view data enabled for it.
Now it's grayed out.
Okay, so wherever we have this view data enabled, we can see the data. Okay. So how can we see the data which is flowing between rollup and sort? So what we will actually do is insert a file component between those two components. So by that way, we can see the data which is passing through both components. Okay. So as an alternative to this method, you can view the data that passes through the flows when you run a graph in the GDE. This is a screenshot which shows a little rectangular item is added in the flow. So flow in the sense, now you have an input file and reformat, right? So try to join that input flow and reformat by dragging from the output port of input file and joining it to the input port of reformat component.
Done.
Done, right? So now it shows only a single line, correct?
Yes.
So click on that debugger toolbar which we discussed. Click on enable debugger, first line, first icon, and then second icon again. Second icon is for add watcher, right?
Yes, but it's not. It's grayed out for me.
It's not working, right? Even if you click on it, it's not work, because a watcher can be added on the flow. It
Okay.
cannot be added anywhere. So click on that flow
Yep.
and click on add watcher.
Done.
Okay. The other thing is you can right click that flow and click add watcher on flow. If you have a watcher already, then you will get remove watcher option or disable watcher. You
Yeah.
should remember, like, you have to click on that particular flow only, right click.
Yep.
So you can toggle it whether you want to add a flow, add a watcher or remove watcher. And remember, in a flow, maximum one watcher can be added.
Okay.
So this we will use for our debugging options. So I have just listed out the options for your reference here. So turn on debugging if it is not already on. Select the flows on which you want to place watches. From the GDE menu bar, choose debug add watcher. In the graph, right click the flow, choose add watcher on the flow from the pop-up menu. Is it clear?
Yep. Yep.
What are we seeing on the slide? Pretty much simple. Okay, so let's waste no time and then create our first graph using the default components. Generate records. So this is one of a component which is available in your component organizer to generate records, to generate source records. So if you are not having a particular source and if you want to have some test records, we can use the generate records component to create specified number of records with specific data type. So it will generate random values according to your data type. Okay. So typically you use the component to test a graph. Suppose you have a development graph, you don't have the source data available, so you can just disable the source for the time being and you can use the insert records and use that particular DML what you have used so that you can test that particular graph. Okay.
Yep.
Let me know if I am going fast or if this speed is okay.
Yep.
It's fine, right?
Yep.
Okay. So since I am hearing answer yes for everything, so I am just traveling a bit fast.
No, you're not traveling fast. I am there. I have also located generate records component and validate.
Okay, that's fine. Let me know if you want me to slow down, okay?
Yeah, sure.
So are you seeing the screen in my GDE? Okay, so whenever you insert a particular component, there are yellow markings all over, right? So if you see an yellow marking in the component visibility, so it is like something is missing in your component. If everything is paka, then you won't get that yellow markers. You'll probably have the DMLs defined and the layout defined, then you will not see that yellow markers. Okay?
Yep.
So let me just discuss about the generate records components. When you open up the properties, you'll see the properties window where you'll have 4 tabs: description, parameters, layout and ports.
Yes.
So in the description you'll see a minor description about what the component is.
Yes.
And you can set up the label also. You can change the label like generate records, right? It will be editable.
Yes.
So you can change it to generate employee records.
Okay.
And remember, whenever we create a graph, right, it is a good practice to make it more readable so that anyone who follows your graph, or if you open it on any other day, it should be easy, like you can deduce from looking the graph like what the graph is doing.
Okay. Like Karthik, label has no other like advantage except for that you are trying to put a description on what you are doing, right?
Yes. You should make it crisp and clear, and at the same time it should not change its particular function. So you should not change the label like join for a generate records component.
Okay.
Okay, so it should be meaningful and it should be readable. So put the label as generate employee records. That's it.
Yeah.
And if you see in the tabs, if you have filled up all the information, all the required information in the tabs, it will show a tick mark. If there are missing information, there also again you will see the yellow colors.
Yep.
I mean, description you will not see the yellow color, but for the ports, I'm sure that you will see that yellow color.
I see that.
Okay. So, and what else you have in the parameters tab?
Number underscore records, num underscore record, command underscore line, and then there is an embedded
Okay.
button.
Okay. Okay. So every component will have its own parameters. There are required parameters, there are optional parameters. So once you specify all the required parameters, the components are ready to execute.
Okay.
Okay, so there is no need to specify all the optional parameters also. So if you want, you can use the optional parameters. And as I said earlier, those yellow color options will vanish if you specify all the required parameters.
Okay.
Similar to the parameters for components, we'll have parameters for graphs also. We'll see about it later. So everything in Initio is driven by the components, and components itself are driven by the usage of your parameters.
Okay.
And you can see the multiple options below: component help, apply help, cancel, OK. So
Yes.
difference between component help and help. So Initio has a vast help library. If you want to just open up the help on any component, you can just tap F1 anywhere,
Right.
or you can go to help. So you'll get the examples, contents, everything, and you can access help from even the component menu. So that's what we are seeing. If you click on the component help, it will directly take you to the page in help for that component, particular component. If you
Right.
open up help, it will open up the default help page.
Right.
And you have now changed the label option, right? So without, if you want to check whatever has changed, you can just click on the apply button and you can see the
Already done.
difference real time.
Already done.
Okay, good then. If you click on OK, this properties windows will close.
Yep.
Then you have to go to edit the parameters again. You have to open it again.
Yeah.
Okay. So just so as you can sense, the number of records parameter is used to specify number of records you want to generate from this particular
Right.
component.
Right.
So click on the number of records and specify 10.
So I have to go into new, right, and then specify 10 there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Done.
And if you see, the parameters window will now get a tick mark because that is the only required parameter.
Yes.
So now the layout and ports are grayed out, right?
Yep.
So go to layout and select and choose one location which will be used as a working directory for this component. So in our case, we don't have a sandbox created yet now. So we don't have the default parameter A serial or A MFS. For now, click on layout, click on URL, click on browse, and then select a serial directory from your Windows Explorer. So let it be the directory which you have created.
Okay, but it says file only. It does not say file and dot. So basically, the work, since the default was that same directory, so dot specifies that it is the same directory, right?
No, I'm not getting what you're trying to say.
Like when we created the connection, I had specified that particular folder which I created.
Okay.
As the default directory, right?
Yes.
So now if I go to URL and browse to that particular directory,
okay,
say like and I come back, it says file : dot, and probably the reason is that it is pointing to this basic default directory, right?
So it is inserting a file : before that particular address. That's what you're saying.
It's just like this. I'll send it on. Just this.
So only file.
File : and a dot.
Okay. So it doesn't have that address.
No.
Okay. Go back to any other tab. Click on apply. Whether the yellow color vanishes.
Yes.
Okay. Strange.
Yep, because in Unix or anywhere in the directory is basically, if you want to specify that directory which is the current directory, So dot is the like terminology, and dot is basically the previous directory, like one directory
Yeah,
prior to that, right? So I think
yeah,
that is
yeah.
the exact thing, file colon dot.
Yes, yes, that's fine. But that the host directory which you have given in run settings, that will be used when you click on open in your menu bar. So just click OK for this properties, and if you click on open, it should open that particular directory. Otherwise, it will open some other default directory. So if it is in Unix, it will open up your default home directory. I don't know what Windows opens, but if you now click on open, it should open that particular directory that you have given. Is
This
it
is
doing
going to,
so?
this is still going to temp, going to some other temp. No.
Are you opening using that open button?
Yes.
Okay. So it means like that host directory is not set correctly in the settings menu. Check check it correctly again and click on open. I mean test the connection again
Host
after
directory is
specific.
fine because it's like it's grayed out right now, and it shows C colon backslash Ashish underscore revenue show underscore work that I created. I think it is
Okay.
fine. Yeah.
Okay. So if you click on open, it should go there. That's the usage of that particular directory. I'm not sure what is
No,
happening.
it's going to some weird directory, which is like I think it should be based on whoever used the last directory, right? Because at least in other applications it works like that.
Yeah. So to change that behavior only, we are using that host directory. So whenever we are opening up this particular host, go to this particular location so that I don't go into any other user's location. So typically how you'll be having, for every user you'll be creating different users and different profiles, right? So every user will be setting the default directory to their home directory location or the sandbox location.
Okay.
So you don't have to traverse from the root to your home directory or the sandbox location every time you log in. So that's how it goes. Okay, let's not worry about that, it's not a big deal. So we have given the parameters for num records and layout that's given and ports. So now this is the main important thing where we are going to define what's the type of data that we are going to generate. So are you seeing a sample record format in our output port?
Yes.
So I have given the records. First I will explain it and then we'll work it out. Okay, so there you will see a grid like
Yeah.
options. Okay, I'll just open up the case study so that you can refer here.
Done.
Okay,
So I've
so there you will
created.
actually specify the yeah. So you will see a record format editor. So this window is called record format editor. For every window you will have the name on top of it. So I will refer the each pop-up windows as we proceed according to the session through the names only. So you'll get used to it when we are using it in our normal daily usage. So this record format editor, you can just give the field names and then you can select the data type whatever you want to use using the drop downs. So first column is field name where you have to give ID, first name, last name, city, salary one by one. And on the right side you can select the data type. For ID column, select the data type as decimal, and for the other string columns use string data type. You can just scroll through the available data types. And then the last one is length column. So in the length we can actually specify what is the maximum length, there is the delimiter which you want to use, or you can specify that just a fixed number. Remember, when you want to use a delimited thing, you have to use quotations to give that value. So for now, let's delimit all the fields using comma. So in the length column, open double quotes, comma, close double quotes. Give one variable and then try to use the validate button above and check whether you are giving it correctly. Then do the same thing for every other column. You have the option to save also.
Mhm.
So when you are finished with first column, save it, validate it, go back to text mode and see how it is giving out the result.
It says record format is okay, and
Okay. So when you get any error, like you will get record format is invalid, something like that.
okay.
So when you go back to text mode, what do you see?
Like I have given commas for all the fields, so decimal, then brackets it's quotes, comma, quotes, and then ID, and similar for string, first name, string, last name, string, city. All of them have quotes, comma, quotes.
Okay, and delimit the last column using the new line character.
Mhm.
So when we create that file, it will be easy for us to read in Windows. Otherwise, every record will be in a single line.
Okay.
So \n.
Yep, done.
Okay. So you have given all the data text, right? So the DML is ready now.
Yep. And the
Okay.
quotes has now check icon.
Tick mark, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So in the same ports window, there are multiple options to specify the DML, right?
Mhm.
Now it is in embedded. So if you just click on the use file option, it will ask you like whether you want to save this particular DML into a file. Is it asking so?
Which one? Which option?
In the ports window, now you have given the values in embedded.
Yes.
If you click on use file or file something like that, it will ask you, would you like to use the embedded value in a file, something like
Where is
that.
that use file option? I don't see it.
Above the embedded.
Propagate from neighbor, same as,
Uh, Next thing,
and then path.
path. Yeah, path. Sorry. You
Yes.
see, in the new version, it is use file. So I'm getting confused since I'm not seeing. I haven't seen this one in a long time.
Okay.
Okay, so the vice versa also. So if you have already used a path and then you want to embed it, so if you click on embed, it will ask you whether you want to use the file contents and edit it in the embedded mode. So it will ask something like that.
Yep.
You can just yeah, you can just sense what Abhiniswar is trying like from the error messages it gives. And now the propagate from neighbors options are we cannot use that now since we have decided to use the embedded option. So let it be in the embedded now, or if you want to save it into a DML, you can do that. Not a
I've
problem.
already done.
Okay, and click on OK. Now connect the output of this generate records to a trash component. So there's a component graph. Give a proper name like generate employees, generate employee records, something like that. And the file extension should be .mp. So MP actually stands for massive programming. I hope so.
Okay. I've saved it. So should I execute it now?
Yeah, you can. Okay, I have a question for you. Tell me how to execute your graph.
F5 or run.
Excellent. So when you save it, you must have given a pop-up window saying that successfully deploying or something like that, converting into script.
There's the building graph and execution started and done.
No. Before this, when you clicked on save, right? You must have so that window actually appeared fast and then it vanished back. So like that, did you get a chance to see any kind of pop-up window like that?
No.
Okay, so okay, we'll see it soon. So whether the execution is completed,
Yes.
do you see blue color markings all over, or you see any failures?
No, I see blue color.
Okay, so when you clicked on FY, it actually opened up a white color window where it says execution starting, everything is right.
Mm-hmm.
So that is called application output window. You can refer the name on the top. So that shows the execution results as it proceeds through each component. So finally it should say done or completed.
Yes.
Okay, so you can just toggle the application window using F2. So F2 brings up the application window, and if you click it again, it will toggle.
Okay.
So at any point of time, you can reach out to whatever the previous output that was generated for this particular graph window that you have opened. So if you are testing your graph and you are adding some more components, so suppose if you want to refer back the previous execution, you can always do that.
Okay.
Okay. So now in the watches, right click on watcher,
View data.
view data. Yes.
Done
So
that.
right,
I see all the records that were generated.
you can generate, right? So according to the DML that we have given, it must have generated the records.
Right.
So now, so we have used the delimited DML. So now go back to your embedded DML and change the type of.
But like I use
Yeah.
that, but it's the view data is showing me the record in similar to DML. It's not showing me delimited values. It's
It
showing
will
me.
show. It will show only the data. It will not show the delimiters. That's
Okay.
why we are giving the delimiters. We are giving delimiters for ab initio to understand.
Okay.
It will bring up the original data for us. That's it.
Okay. The way it is showing me is that the record 1 and similarly record, then in the next line ID, and then in the quotes whatever ID it has used, first name in the next line, and against it the name that is it has generated, then next line last name, then the data, thing like that.
Yes, you will actually see a table kind of representation.
Kind of, yes.
Yes, but you will not see any delimiters out there.
Yes.
Okay. Now what I want you to do is, okay, so before that we will see about the another optional parameter in generate records, and then we can direct it to an output. So come back to my screen where you can see the command line option. So command line, so now we have generated the data, so it seems only random values and we cannot generate an useful information in that particular data, right?
Hmm?
So in order to get some useful information for our testing, so we can just tweak the output of generate records to a little extent so that we will get some useful data. There are multiple options available in your command line parameters. You can get the multiple options from the help itself. Oh, it's not opening up directly the particular component.
It is, and what I'm saying is if I go to help and search for it, it's showing the exact same thing, nothing extra or something.